The flute didn't just fall, it was thrown. Champagne sprayed in a glittering arc across the white linen of table 14, bubbles hissing against marble like angry whispers. Victor Hale stood over the mess he'd made, silver hair catching chandelier light, mouth curled in the practiced half-smile he used when reminding the world who paid the bills. "Hey, black girl," he said, voice carrying over the low jazz, "clean that up. Or do they not teach basic housekeeping where you come from?" The room froze. Serena Adams stood 3 feet away, water pitcher steady in her left hand, right hand already reaching for a fresh napkin she hadn't needed yet. Dark skin glowing under warm light, twists, pinned tight against her scalp like armor. 4 years at the Sterling Room had taught her how to become furniture. Present, perfect, invisible until summoned. Tonight she was summoned. Forks hovered. Conversations guttered. Phones tilted subtly from nearby tables. Red dots already blinking. The elderly couple at table 9 exchanged a glance. The woman's lips pressed thin. A young hedge fund analyst at table 7 lowered his menu, eyes wide. Victor pointed with 2 fingers, the same 2 he'd used to snap the stem. "I'm waiting." Ethan, 28, newest associate, stared at his plate so hard the rim might crack. Wart and polish, Korean-American parents who'd worked 3 jobs so he could sit at tables like this. He didn't laugh. His knuckles whitened around his napkin. Mark, mid-40s, Victor's longest shadow, let out a single dry cough that died in his throat. Ulcers from years of late-night damage control, loyalty that had started as gratitude and hardened into habit. He chuckled once short, obligatory, then stopped when no one joined. Knees met cold stone. Shards glittered like broken promises. She gathered them slowly, thumb and forefinger careful, while Victor towered, wineglass still in hand. "Faster," he said. He nodded, face darkening. Serena rose, shards cradled in the folded napkin. She met Victor's eyes, gray, flat, the color of concrete after rain. Behind the arrogance lived something older, a boy in Youngstown, Ohio, 1979, watching his father come home empty-handed after the mill closed. That boy had sworn he'd never be empty again. He'd built an empire instead, didn't excuse the venom, just explained the dosage. "Another flute, sir." Her voice stayed velvet over steel. Victor snorted. "Only if you can keep your hands steady this time." Scattered laughter, thin, uncomfortable, from his table. Ethan didn't join. Mark's chuckle sounded forced even to himself. Serena turned toward the service station. Victor's voice chased her, louder for the audience. "You see that right there? That's what die really looks like. Optics over ability. They put her here so the liberals can sleep at night." The sentence landed heavier than the glass. A man at table 5 inhaled sharply, phones angled closer. In the kitchen pass, steam curling around her face, Serena set the shards down. Janelle appeared instantly. 29, Haitian-born, eyes like lit coals. "He just called you," I heard. I heard. Serena's fingers shook once, then steadied. Janelle stepped closer. "Management will. Management comps his bill when he complains," Serena said quietly. "I need to shift." But her pulse hammered. In her apron pocket, the phone buzzed, saying finance form alert she haunted anonymously. Biotech rejection leaked, Hale Capital's largest position. Opening Monday, bloodbath. She could picture the ledger entry already. Prediction. Biotech, generational opportunity. Outcome. Wipeout. Victor wasn't cartoon evil. He was human scarred, scared of irrelevance, turning pain outward like a blade. Didn't make it hurt less. Serena straightened her apron, picked up a fresh crystal flute, walked back into the dining room. Every eye followed her. Victor leaned back, smirking, already scripting the next humiliation. She set the new glass down, centered, no tremor. Then she spoke, low, clear, carrying. "Actually, Mr. Bio." "Hale, about that biotech position you were bragging about earlier." His smirk froze, just a hairline crack. The phone across the room kept rolling. Victor's laugh came out too loud, too late, but before he could fire back, Serena slid her phone onto the tablecloth screen facing up. The leaked FDA document glowing like a lit fuse, and asked the question no billionaire expects from the woman pouring his wine. "How much of your client's money is about to evaporate on Monday?" Victor waved her over with that impatient flick of the wrist, the one rich men use when they expect the world to bend. The Sterling room hummed with resumed conversations, but the air felt thicker now, eyes lingering on her from nearby tables, phones not quite put away. Victor sat like a king on his throne, associates arrayed around him, the corner booth a fortress of entitlement. "Reserve list," he said without looking up, mid-sentence about a merger he'd crushed last quarter. "And make it quick. Time's money," she nodded, fetched the leather-bound folder. As she handed it over, he finally glanced up, eyes sliding over her like she was part of the menu, assessing, dismissing. He flipped pages with theatrical flair, commenting on vintages to his table. "The 16 Margot, beautiful. Pour." She presented the bottle, uncorked silently, poured his taste. He swirled, sniffed, waved approval without sipping. As she filled glasses around the table, Victor's voice rose, deliberate. "You know, this day nonsense, it's window dressing. Looks good on reports, but finance isn't charity. You either see the numbers or you don't. Simple." Ethan shifted in his seat, discomfort growing like a knot in his stomach. He thought of his parents' restaurant in Queens, the way they'd smiled through slurs for tips. He didn't meet Serena's eyes. Mark chuckled obligatorily, but it stuck in his throat. Unease flickered. Another night of Victor's jabs, another ulcer twinge. Loyalty had kept him here through the divorce years, when Victor had isolated himself in rage, but lately the cost weighed heavier. Serena kept pouring. Water droplets beaded on crystal. Her hands stayed steady, but inside, the moral dilemma churned. Swallow it for Mama's next dialysis bill, Keisha's tuition check, or risk the job that kept them afloat. A flash of Victor's humanity intruded, a quick memory from her database dives, an old article about his divorce 5 years back, how he'd lost custody time because work consumed him, turning isolation into sharper edges. Didn't soften the sting, just made it more tragic. Then the napkin fell. Victor's hand brushed it off the table deliberately. It landed near her foot. "Oops," she bent, retrieved it, placed a fresh one beside his plate. "See?" Victor said to his group. "Service here is still decent. They train them well." The table tittered. Serena straightened, met his eyes for half a second. No smile, no frown, just acknowledgement. In the kitchen, she allowed one deep breath. Janelle caught her there, leaning against the steel counter. "Table 14 again?" Janelle's tone was sharp with concern, her own history of slurs from customers making this personal. Serena nodded. "Died jabs this time. Nothing new." Janelle's eyes narrowed. "Girl, that man is poison. You know what he did to Maria last year?" Called her the help in front of everyone. Management did nothing. He drops too much cash. Serena gripped the counter. "I know, but Mama's prescriptions, Kesha's semester." Janelle touched her arm. "You're more than this. That database you keep, use it, keep score." One day, Serena managed a half smile. One day, back on the floor, Victor waved her over again. The evening progressed. Courses arrived. Wine flowed. He held court, bragging about his biotech bet. Minna's the future. Phase 3. Data's a lock. Generational wealth. Serena refilled water, close enough to hear. Her phone vibrated, an alert on that biotech. Embargoed rejection. Stock would tank. Victor caught her lingering. "Hey, you! Serena, right? Pretty name for the help." His table grinned. "You got any stock tips?" They must teach that between cleaning tables and pouring wine, or is money too complicated for your kind? Mark chuckled, but his eyes didn't match. Unease deepening, a midlife whisper that this wasn't worth the bonuses anymore. Serena stood perfectly still. One breath, two, internally. She recalled Victor's NBC clip. Merit matters. If they can't compete, fine, she thought. Let's examine your merit. But she swallowed it, for now, absorbed professionally. "I'll check on your appetizers, Mr. Hale." She turned, walked away, back straight, chin level. Inside, the decision formed, keep score. Silently, for now. The room watched her go. Victor leaned back, satisfied. Unaware, the fuse was lit. Victor waved her over one final time. Wine glass empty, smirk sharpening as he leaned in for the kill. But before he could push for that real tip, Serena clasped her hands, tone calm and unleashed to the first volley. "You asked for a stock tip, Mr. Hale. I'll give you an audit instead." Victor pushed through the doors, face purple with rage. But before the night ended, applause swelled as diners stood, laughing at his expense, and one quiet observer, Raymond Brooks, slipped Serena his card with a whisper, "Call me." We need analysts like you. Applause. Cracked the silence like thunder after a storm, slow at first, then swelling as the elderly couple at table 9 rose, clapping deliberate and loud, their faces etched with years of witnessing quiet cruelties without a voice. Victor Hale froze at the door, coat half on, face cycling through crimson and chalk as the sound built. Diners stood one by one. The Pearls woman from table 7 first, her silk scarf slipping as she joined, then the young couple at table 11, the man's brown skin flushing with something like vindication. Laughter rippled next, sharp and unrestrained. Hey, Victor, what's Nvidia trading at these days? A voice from table 5, bold now in the crowd's safety. Bitcoin hit 150K yet? The sterling room transformed, chandeliers casting golden light on upturned faces, the low jazz fading under the wave of reversal. Phones held high, red dots multiplying for shareable clips of public humiliation flipped on its head. Rage bait perfected, the billionaire's fall captured in real time, outrage moments stacking for viral gold. The elderly man at table 9 called out, "Research isn't slander, son, it's reality." Serena stood in the center aisle, notepad forgotten at her feet, the pure catharsis washing over her like cool water after fire. But it mixed with isolation systemic barriers, lingering in the applause's echo, the knowledge that one night's win didn't erase 62 rejections or the quiet nights questioning if her dreams were delusions. Emotional payoff hit, dense but shadowed, triumph real, but fleeting against the world's weight. Victor whirled on his associates. "We're leaving, now!" They scrambled, briefcases snatched, coats grabbed in hurried shame. Ethan lingered a beat longer, backpack slung, his gaze finding Serena's across the room, a nod of alliance, subtle, nuanced respect from the tentative associate who'd sat silent through too many jabs. Motivated by his parents' immigrant grind, he felt the shift, breaking free from Victor's shadow, his own arc bending toward integrity. Mark shrugged off Victor's rage with a half shake of his head, staying silent as always, but unease deepened into quiet fracture. Loyalty's chains straining under the night's revelations, his midlife whispers growing louder about what this job had cost his health, his soul. Victor stormed out, scattering a fistful of $100 bills across the floor, like confetti from a lost parade. The door slammed. The entourage trailed, heads down, except Ethan, who paused at the threshold, another nod before vanishing into the night. The applause crested, then faded into excited murmurs. Diners approached Serena in waves, the Pearl's husband pressing a business card, "If you ever need legal advice," the young man from table 11 shaking her hand, "That was for all of us." Shareable clips already uploading. Viral hooks pulling in views. Waitress destroys billionaire with receipts, must watch. But in the corner unobserved until now, Raymond Brooks sat quietly at table 6, late 40s, suit understated quality, dining alone with a view of the entire scene. Chief investment officer at Cornerstone Capital, managing $8 billion in assets. He'd watched with measured eyes, noting Serena's discipline, the way she turned humiliation into precision without losing composure. His own backstory echoed faintly. Detroit roots, line worker father shrunk by plant closures, a climb built on refusing to shrink. No flash, just quiet observation. He stood as the crowd thinned, approached Serena with card extended. "Raymond Brooks, I saw everything. Junior analyst position open. We sponsor CAFE. Benefits cover what matters. Family medical included. Call me. Merit like yours, shouldn't wait tables." Serena took the card, heavy stock, embossed. A tentative acceptance flickered. Hope mixed with doubt, the isolation lingering as she wondered if this door would stay open or slam like the others. The manager materialized at her elbow, face a mix of awe and calculation. "Serena, corporate's calling already. The clips everywhere. The clips everywhere. Get to the office, paid leave until we sort this." She nodded, but the catharsis felt incomplete, pure in the moment, shadowed by the knowledge that Victor's world wouldn't crumble without fighting back, that systemic barriers didn't vanish with applause. Janelle pulled her into the kitchen for a quick hug. "You did it, but girl, be careful. Men like that don't forget." Serena exhaled. The room's reaction echoed in her ears. Cathartic, yes, but isolation clung like smoke. Barriers lingered. The wind felt real, but fragile. She pocketed the card, stepped into the night air outside the tower, city lights sprawling like a challenge accepted. Serena walked home under the city lights, Raymond's card burning in her pocket, But by morning, Victor's per machine fired back with a statement labeling her fabricated claims from a disgruntled server, and the online backlash ignited with racist memes and doxing hints. The applause crested like a wave crashing through glass, diners standing in waves as Victor's bills fluttered to the floor like defeated flags. Humiliation reversed in a room full of witnesses who'd finally found their voices. Serena stood amid the surge, hands clasped to hide the tremor, the sterling room's chandeliers now casting her in warm light instead of shadows. Cheers mixed with laughter. "That's merit for you," from the Pearl's husband at table 7, his wife nodding fiercely. The young man from table 11 pumped a fist subtly, his partner wiping a tear personal vindication in the air, shareable clips already uploading with captions like "Billionaire owned live." But triumph laced with doubt hit Serena hard, the pure catharsis souring as isolation crept in. Systemic barriers didn't vanish with claps, they lingered like the faint scent of spilled champagne, reminding her this win was fragile, one black woman's stand against a world built for men like Victor. Regret flickered, potential family exposure loomed, her mother's lupus flare-ups and Keisha's tuition now at risk if backlash spilled over. The manager appeared at her elbow, face slick with sweat, wavering between awe and panic corporate calls already buzzing his pocket. "Serena, that was something, but we need to talk. Corporate seeing the clips, get to the office, paid leave until we figure liability." She nodded, but didn't move yet. Diners approached in a quiet stream, business cards extended like olive branches. The Pearl's woman first. "If you need connections in asset management, call." The elderly man, "Brava, my firm's her would love to chat." Cards piled in her apron, 9 by the count, each a tentative bridge over the chasm of 62 rejections. Then Raymond Brooks stepped forward from table 6, card extended with understated grace. "Call me Monday." Serena took it, heavy stock pressing into her palm. She accepted tentatively. "Thank you. I'll consider it." Doubt whispering that doors like this often slam shut, her vulnerability deepening as she recalled late nights scribbling poetry in spreadsheet margins, verses about unseen patterns and silenced voices as her coping ritual against the grind. Janelle pulled her aside near the kitchen. "Girl, you legend now. But that manager? He's waffling hard. Don't let them spin this against you." Serena hugged her briefly. "I won't, but what if this exposes Mama, Kesha?" Janelle's eyes softened, her own immigration scars making the fear shared. "Then we fight." Like always. Meanwhile, in his penthouse across town, Victor paced a glass-walled living room overlooking the same skyline, alone with a half-empty scotch. That fear of fading, of becoming nothing again, surged, humanizing the rage as he dialed per. "Kill this. Call it fabricated claims from a disgruntled server. All predictions are public record. This is a smear campaign." Racist memes erupted in the comments. Woke waitress plays victim. Doxing hints surfacing. Old LinkedIn profiles mocked. Howard dropout status twisted into failed analyst. Warring factions sparked engagement. She destroyed him with facts versus jealous die-hire gone rogue. Viral clip hits multiplied counter-narrative fueling shares as outrage escalated, rage bait looping for algorithm gold. Serena walked home under sodium lights, cards in pocket, the triumph souring further. Vulnerability deepened in the quiet poetry lines echoing in her head, verses about fractured merit and unseen costs. Regret gnawed, family exposure now real, her win potentially endangering the ones she'd sacrificed everything for. Isolation clung, the applause's echo fading into doubt. Was this justice, or just another barrier in disguise? She unlocked her door, checked the phone, the clip at 2 million. Comments warring, backlash beginning. Serena collapsed on her couch, the cards scattered like promises. But by dawn, anonymous texts lit her phone with threats leaking her mother's dialysis schedule, and the doxing escalated with old LinkedIn mocked online. The first text arrived at 2:44 a.m. "Nice speech. Too bad your mom's dialysis is Tuesday. Would be a shame if something happened." Serena's phone lit the dark bedroom like a warning flare. She sat up, heart slamming against ribs, the glow illuminating her face in cold blue. The message vanished when she tried to screenshot. Burner number, untraceable at first glance. Before panic could fully grip, another came. Keisha's dorm at Morgan State, room 4112, easy to find. Rage bait peaked in the quiet personal menace slicing through the victory's afterglow. Unrestrained outrage moments now turned inward. She stared at the screen, the room suddenly too small, the city hum outside mocking her vulnerability. She forwarded both to Raymond Ellis with one word, "Now," then called her mother. "Mom, lock the doors. Don't answer if anyone knocks. I'm sending police." A pause on the line, the sound of a chair scraping. "Baby, what's happening?" Threats from people connected to Victor Hale. "Shh, they know your schedule." Her mother's voice stayed steady. Lupus had taught her endurance, but the tremor underneath cut deep. "I'm not scared, but you be careful. We raised you stronger than this." Serena hung up, hands shaking. The moral gray pressed hard. Had her win endangered loved ones? Empowerment or destruction? The takedown felt righteous in the seal's light, but here in the dark, regret surged, quiet, authentic, the cost of speaking truth in a world that punished it. She thought of her poetry notebook tucked in the drawer, verses about unseen patterns now feeling like warnings she'd ignored. By morning, doxing escalated. Old LinkedIn mocked in threads. Howard Dropout thinks she's an analyst pathetic. Racist memes circulated. Waitress to woke warrior. Comments warring for engagement. Protect her. Ethan arrived at her door at 9:12 a.m., backpack slung, eyes shadowed from a sleepless night. He'd quit on the sidewalk outside Lucille. Resignation texted to Victor at 1 a.m. motivated by his parents' immigrant stories, night shifts, dismissed dreams. He couldn't stay silent anymore. "I brought coffee," he said, stepping inside when she let him. "And proof. I recorded Victor's calls last night. He's spiraling, ordering more digging, not stopping the threats. I leaked the audio to Raymond's Pi. It's evidence." "You didn't have to. I did." Nuance in his voice. Tentative ally turning firm, redemption arc beginning as he broke free from Victor's shadow. "You showed me what silence costs. My parents came here for better." "I won't waste it." Mark's midlife crisis culminating, loyalty chains breaking, the ulcer-ridden lieutenant choosing conscience over comfort. Humanized in his defection, not heroic flourish, but quiet fracture after years of enabling. She called Janelle. "They're coming for my family," Janelle's reply instant. "I'm on my way. We handle this together." The room filled with solidarity. Janelle arriving with food, Ethan staying to help draft statements, Raymond texting updates, security on your mother's house, police report filed. Countersuit drafting. Emotional payoff dense with shadows, fear real but support realer, growth from endurance to agency in the quiet act of reaching out. Serena sat at her table, cards from diners spread before her, Raymond's on top. She texted him, "I'm in." But threats first, his reply, "We protect our own, welcome aboard." Inside, the fight shifted, rage bait now personal, sustained tension building as threats lingered, moral grade deepening, victory's price measured in family safety, the haunting realism that speaking up rarely ends clean. Serena stared at her phone as a new anonymous text arrived with a photo of her mother's house, police car visible in the frame. But before fear could settle, Mark's leaked audio hit a financial forum, and the internet exploded with fresh outrage. Billionaire ordered family harassment proof attached. "2 men just knocked on my door asking questions about you." Her mother's voice trembled to the speaker, low but steady. "I told them to leave or I'd call the police. They left. But they took pictures of the house first." "Ah, you stay." She unlocked her door, checked the phone, the clip at 2 million. Comments warring, backlash beginning. Serena collapsed on her couch, the cards scattered like promises. But by dawn, anonymous texts lit her phone with threats leaking her mother's dialysis schedule, and the doxing escalated with old LinkedIn mocked online. The first text arrived at 2:44 a.m. "Nice speech. Too bad your mom's dialysis is Tuesday. Would be a shame if something happened." Serena's phone lit the dark bedroom like a warning flare. She sat up, heart slamming against ribs, the glow illuminating her face in cold blue. The message vanished when she tried to screenshot. Burner number, untraceable at first glance. Before panic could fully grip, another came. Keisha's dorm at Morgan State, room 4112, easy to find. Rage bait peaked in the quiet personal menace slicing through the victory's afterglow. Unrestrained outrage moments now turned inward. She stared at the screen, the room suddenly too small, the city hum outside mocking her vulnerability. She forwarded both to Raymond Ellis with one word, Now, then called her mother. Mom, lock the doors. Don't answer if anyone knocks. I'm sending police. A pause on the line. The sound of a chair scraping. Baby, what's happening? Threats from people connected to Victor Hale. Shh, they know your schedule. Her mother's voice stayed steady. Lupus had taught her endurance, but the tremor underneath cut deep. I'm not scared, but you be careful. We raised you stronger than this. Serena hung up, hands shaking. The moral gray pressed hard. Had her win endangered loved ones? Empowerment or destruction? The takedown felt righteous in the seal's light, but here in the dark, regret surged, quiet, authentic, the cost of speaking truth in a world that punished it. She thought of her poetry notebook tucked in the drawer, verses about unseen patterns now feeling like warnings she'd ignored. By morning, doxing escalated. Old LinkedIn mocked in threads. Howard dropout thinks she's an analyst pathetic. Racist memes circulated. Waitress to woke warrior. Comments warring for engagement. Protect her. Ethan arrived at her door at 9:12 a.m., backpack slung, eyes shadowed from a sleepless night. He'd quit on the sidewalk outside Lucille. Resignation texted to Victor at 1 a.m. motivated by his parents' immigrant stories, night shifts, dismissed dreams. He couldn't stay silent anymore. I brought coffee, he said, stepping inside when she let him. And proof. I recorded Victor's calls last night. He's spiraling, ordering more digging, not stopping the threats. I leaked the audio to Raymond's Pi. It's evidence. You didn't have to. I did. Nuance in his voice. Tentative ally turning firm. Redemption arc beginning as he broke free from Victor's shadow. You showed me what silence costs. My parents came here for better. I won't waste it. Mark's midlife crisis culminating. Loyalty chains breaking. The ulcer-ridden lieutenant choosing conscience over comfort. Humanized in his defection. Not heroic flourish, but quiet fracture after years of enabling. She called Janelle. They're coming for my family, Janelle's reply instant. I'm on my way. We handle this together. The room filled with solidarity. Janelle arriving with food. Ethan staying to help draft statements. Raymond texting updates. Security on your mother's house. Police report filed. Countersuit drafting. Emotional payoff dense with shadows. Fear real, but support realer. Growth from endurance to agency in the quiet act of reaching out. Serena sat at her table. Cards from diners spread before her. Raymond's on top. She texted him, I'm in. But threats first. His reply, we protect our own. Welcome aboard. Inside, the fight shifted. Rage bait now personal. Sustained tension building as threats lingered. Moral gray deepening. Victory's price measured in family safety. The haunting realism that speaking up rarely ends clean. Serena stared at her phone as a new anonymous text arrived with a photo of her mother's house. Police car visible in the frame. But before fear could settle, Mark's leaked audio hit a financial forum. And the internet exploded with fresh outrage. Billionaire ordered family harassment proof attached. 2 men just knocked on my door asking questions about you. Her mother's voice trembled to the speaker low but steady. I told them to leave or I'd call the police. They left. But they took pictures of the house first. Ah, you stay. Serena gripped the phone so hard the case creaked. The apartment lights felt too bright, the walls too close. Dawn hadn't even broken yet, and the threats had already crossed state lines. Mom, stay inside. Don't answer the door. I'm sending police now. A pause. The sound of curtains being drawn. I'm not scared, baby, but you be careful. We raised you for this. Serena ended the call. Dialed 911 for Baltimore PD. My mother's being harassed. 2 men at her door asking about me. She has lupus dialysis patient. Address is. She gave the details, voice flat with controlled fury. We've got the voicemails from last night. It's enough for harassment charges. Everything's documented now? Janelle arrived at 6:42 a.m. Coffee in one hand, baseball bat in the other. I'm staying until we sort this. Ethan showed up 20 minutes later, hoodie up, eyes red from no sleep. I drove straight from Brooklyn, brought audio from Victor's calls last night. He's ordering more digging, not stopping the threats. I leaked it to Raymond's team. It's evidence. Serena looked at them. Janelle's fierce loyalty, Ethan's quiet break from complicity. Solidarity payoff landed understated but deep. No grand speeches, just people choosing to stand beside her when the world tried to isolate her. Mark's email hit at 7:18. Subject, I'm done. Inside, forwarded chain from Victor's Pi firm. Explicit orders to dig deep on family, medical records, leverage points. Mark's note, I forwarded this to Niped and your lawyer. I'm testifying if needed. Sorry I stayed silent so long. Loyalty cost me too much. Mark's midlife crisis culminated here. Loyalty chains snapping after years of enabling. The ulcer-ridden lieutenant choosing conscience over comfort. Humanized in the simple act of leaking. No heroics, just fracture. Raymond called back at 8,000. Police report filed in Baltimore. Night coordinating, countersuit drafting harassment, witness tampering, abusive process. We're moving fast. Onboarding at noon, don't be late. Serena looked around her apartment. Cards from diners on the table. Raymond's on top. She texted him, I'm in. But threats first. His reply, we protect our own. Welcome aboard. She called her mother again. Pack a bag. Stay with Aunt Lena for a few days. Police are outside now. A soft laugh. For you, baby. But I'm proud. Always were. Serena hung up. Felt the gross shift from endurance to agency. Quiet but real. The fight wasn't clean. Threats lingered, but allies rose, understated and strong. Online, the leaked audio from Ethan exploded. Forums titled, Billionaire ordered family harassment, proof attached. Hashtags trended, Audetherich, protect Serena. Rage bait escalated without fatigue. Countersuit filed. Public pressure mounting. Shares climbing as outrage turned protective. Serena stood by the window. City waking below. We need to talk, face to face. No lawyers, just you and me. Mark, listen to me. Shut it down, all of it. The piss, the leaks, everything. Victor's voice crackled through the leaked audio on Serena's phone, desperate and ragged. I'm not going down because of some waitress. Fix this, Mark's reply, calm but edged. It's too late, Victor. The emails are out. I forwarded them myself. I'm done cleaning your messes. You traitor. After everything I gave you gave me ulcers in the divorce. Goodbye. The recording ended with a click. Serena played it again, sitting at her kitchen table as dawn filtered through the blinds. The apartment smelled of stale coffee and fear sweat. Janelle paced behind her, bat leaning against the wall. Ethan sat opposite, hoodie up, eyes locked on the screen. Victor's right hand? He flipped. Ethan nodded. Leaked it to Raymond's pie last night. Traces back to Victor's orders. Digging on your family, medical records, leverage points. It's harassment, criminal. Keisha's dorm. Janelle stopped pacing. We relocate them now. Raymond's call came at 7,002 AME. The audio's gold. Countersuit filing at 9 harassment, tampering the works. Security's at your mother's. Baltimore PDA's involved. You okay? Shaken, Serena admitted. But moving, good. Onboarding at noon. We protect our own. She hung up, dialed her mother. Baby, police are here. Said you sent them. I did. Pack for Aunt Lena's. Kesha too. Campus security's alerted. A sigh. We're fine, but okay. For you, Serena's voice cracked. I love you more. Be strong. The line went dead. Janelle touched her shoulder. They're safe. Now us. Ethan stood. I'm heading tonight with the audio, testifying if needed. Serena met his eyes. Why risk it? My parents taught me silence costs more than speaking. You showed me how. Solidarity payoff landed quiet but profound, no fanfare. Just people choosing sides in the gray. Janelle's fierce protection, Ethan's break from complicity, Raymond's institutional shield. Serena felt growth stir, from endurance to agency. The understated power of not standing alone. Mark defected fully by 8:15 email to Serena. Pie orders leaked. I'm whistleblowing. Deposition ready. Sorry for Friday. My silence enabled him too long. His midlife crisis culminated here. Loyalty shattered. The ulcer-ridden lieutenant choosing reinvention over ruin, humanized in the simple courage of flipping the script. Police arrived at 8:47. 2 detectives, badges flashing. Adams? We have the texts, voicemails, audio. Baltimore's coordinating, restraining order drafting. Serena handed over her phone. Everything's there. One detective nodded. This is big. Hale's funds trending. Audetheric exploding. Public pressure helps. Online, escalation without fatigue. Leaked pie orders fueled outrage. Countersuit filed by 9:30. Hashtags trending as shares amplified rage bait. Turning protective, comments warring. Expose him versus witch hunt, viral gold. The story now a movement. Serena stepped outside at 11:45, heading to Cornerstone. The city air felt charged. Threats real, but allies realer. Moral gray lingered. Her win had cost Mark his job, Ethan his safety, her family peace. Meet me in Central Park, Bethesda Terrace, 2 p.m. or the threats don't stop. Victor's voice came through the block number at 12:17 p.m., cracked and urgent. No lawyers, no cameras, Bethesda Terrace, 2 p.m. sharp. Twice 2 p.m. Come alone, or the threats keep coming. Serena stood in the Cornerstone lobby, badge still warm from onboarding, the hum of Bloomberg terminals behind her suddenly distant. You threatened my family. I didn't order that. The pie went rogue, but I didn't stop them either. That's on me. You think one meeting fixes it? I think one meeting ends it, or it gets worse. Your choice. She let silence stretch. I'll be there. She hung up, texted Raymond, meeting Victor. Bethesda, 2 p.m. security shadow only. No intervention unless I signal. Victor waited on the lower steps of Bethesda Terrace, coat collar up, no entourage. He looked smaller than Friday night, silver hair wind-tossed, eyes hollow from sleepless nights and redemptions. He saw her approach, stood, no smirk, no bluster. Thank you for coming. Serena stopped 6 feet away. Talk fast, Victor exhaled. I'm finished. Funds hemorrhaging. Board's voting tomorrow to remove me. ENB blacklisted me. I lost $1.9 billion in outflows since Friday. My daughter, she's 23, first job in Chicago. If this becomes criminal, it follows her. I'm asking you to consider not pressing charges. Drop it. I'll retract everything publicly. Full apology. No spin. Serena's pulse thrummed. You threatened my mother's life, my sister's safety. You don't get to bargain. I know, his voice broke slightly. I didn't want this. The pie I told them to dig, not harass, but I didn't stop them. I panicked. Same way I panicked when my father lost the mill. Same way I panicked when my ex left and took half my life. I built everything to never feel that again, and now I'm losing it all. He looked at the fountain. Water fell in steady sheets. I'm not asking forgiveness. I'm asking mercy for her, not me. Moral ambiguity climax landed quiet but heavy. Victor's humanity exposed, fear of fading mirroring Serena's own stalled dreams, his daughter's vulnerability echoing her sister's. Not redemption, not absolution, just a cracked man facing the mirror Serena had held up. She spoke softly. I didn't file charges. Baltimore PDD, Night DD. Evidence is out, your orders, the threats. I can't make that disappear. Victor nodded slowly. I know, but the apology. I'll make it public. Today, raw, no qualifiers. I'll step away from television. Let the market decide. Serena studied him. Why now? Because you were right. His eyes met hers. Merit matters. I forgot what it looked like. I saw your database, your precision, 5 years of tracking. That's discipline I lost somewhere between the mill and the billions. I turned fear into arrogance, and you reminded me what competence actually is. Tension held, no grand forgiveness. Serena felt the quiet release, costs reflected upon, the emotional payoff dense, not clean catharsis, but the haunting realism that accountability could humanize even the hardest hearts, and that real change began in uncomfortable mirrors. She stepped closer. Make the apology public, today. No spin, no but, and then disappear from screens. Let the consequences land. Victor exhaled. I can do that. He turned to leave. Serena spoke once more. One thing, he paused. If you mean it, don't just say sorry. Change. For your daughter, for the people you crushed. That's the only retraction that matters. Victor looked back. Something shifted, not defeat, but recognition. He nodded once, walked away down the path. Serena stayed. Fountain murmured behind her. Tourists laughed. Life continued. She pulled out her phone, texted Raymond, he's issuing apology. Public, today, no deal on charges. Let authorities handle. Then she sat on the stone bench Victor had offered, let the afternoon sun touch her face, felt the quiet weight lift, not gone, but shared. The emotional layers deepened, fear and fury intertwined with fragile hope, growth forged in the crucible of real danger, the understated truth that speaking up rarely ends clean, but sometimes it bends the arc towards something better. Victor's apology dropped on every financial wire, raw, unqualified, devastating. But as Serena watched the statement go live from a bench in the park, her phone buzzed with one final anonymous message. This isn't over. We're watching. Victor's apology hit the wires at 3:40 p.m., raw, unqualified, devastating. Serena sat on a Central Park bench, phone in hand, the fountain's murmur blending with distant traffic as the statement loaded. I was wrong. My words and actions Friday night at the Sterling Room were inexcusable. I used racial language, dismissed merit based on background, and allowed intimidation to follow when I should have taken responsibility. Serena Adams delivered facts I refused to see. I retract every slur, every accusation. I step away from television. Hashtags trended harder. Victor apologizes. Not Etheridge, user in Adams. Comments split, some cheering the accountability, others calling it too little too late. Fund hemorrhage accelerated. Another $800 million in redemptions, announced by 4:15. Board emergency meeting confirmed. Victor removed as CEO effective immediately. NBC issued a quiet statement. We are reviewing our guest roster. She stood, walked to the subway. Badge clipped to her blazer. Cornerstone's address still fresh in her mind. The office waited on the 44th floor. Bloomberg terminal glowing at her desk. Market data streaming in real time. Raymond met her at reception. You made it, she nodded. He apologized. Public. I saw. We're monitoring redemptions. Your name's trending in the right circles. Omalists, funds, even pension trustees. They're asking questions about merit hiring. Serena settled at her desk. Fingers hovered over keys. First assignment, Minisector update, ironic symmetry. Numbers danced familiar, patterns emerging clean. A senior analyst paused by her station. Good work on the biotech call. Keep it up, she smiled faintly. Triumph laced with shadows. Catharsis real, inspiration real, but the system's incompleteness haunted. Systemic change didn't arrive with one apology. Barriers lingered. The 62 rejections still stung. The threats still echoed. The moral gray remained. Had she empowered herself or simply survived another cycle? Ethan texted at 5003. I'm testifying next week. Mark 2. We're good, she replied. Thank you for everything, Janelle called at 612. Girl, you're on every feed. But you okay? Getting there, Serena said. Mama's safe with Aunt Lena. Kesha's back in dorm. Threats slowed after the apology. Good, but watch your back. People like him don't vanish clean. Serena looked out the Window City sprawl below. Same towers that once loomed over her invisibility. Now she sat above them. Success porn moment. New view from the 44th floor. Bloomberg terminal humming. Family funded without scraping. But shadowed. Final anonymous email arrived at 7:19. Apology doesn't erase everything. We're still watching. She forwarded it to Raymond's security team. No panic, just quiet resolve. City lights glittered like scattered possibilities. The emotional payoff landed higher density, catharsis, inspiration, but haunted by shadows. Merit prevailed, not cleanly, not finally, but enough to keep going. Enough to reflect on costs, on others still invisible, on the quiet work ahead. She walked toward the subway, badge glinting under streetlights, ready for tomorrow. Serena reached her apartment. We're still here. Serena stared at the screen in her queen's apartment, the city lights bleeding through half-closed blinds. She forwarded it to Raymond's security team without comment. No panic, no reply, just quiet vigilance. She opened the laptop anyway. The Wall Street's worst calls database waited. 5 years of meticulous entries, color-coded failures, Victor Hale's tab now the thickest. She clicked to add the last line. Prediction, the waitress knows nothing. Outcome, wrong. She saved it, closed the file, leaned back. Morning came soft. She packed a small bag, simple clothes, her poetry notebook, the cornerstone badge she now wore every day. The train to Baltimore felt different, no longer just escape, but return with purpose. Her mother waited at the station, lupus fatigue in her eyes, but pride brighter. Kesha stood beside her, creamed scrubs folded over her arm, grin wide. They hugged without words first, long, tight, the kind that carried years of unspoken weight. Home smelled of stew and lavender. Mama's dialysis chair sat empty in the corner treatment stable, bills covered by Serena's first paycheck. Kesha pulled out textbooks showing off high scores. You made this possible, sis. Don't ever forget, Serena smiled. I won't. They sat on the porch as evening fell. City sounds distant, replaced by crickets and the low hum of neighbors. Mama spoke quietly. That man apologized. On television. I saw it. Serena nodded. He did. Does it feel finished? Serena looked at the horizon. Not clean, not fully. But it's enough for now. Victor faded into irrelevance. Fun dissolved, names scrubbed from screens, last citing a quiet move to a smaller city upstate. No dramatic downfall, just slow erasure. His daughter texted Serena once, "Thank you for letting him keep what mattered." Serena never replied. Forgiveness wasn't required, accountability was. Back in New York, Serena's desk overlooked the same skyline she'd once served from below. Bloomberg Terminal hummed with live data. She ran models, wrote reports, mentored juniors who reminded her of her younger self, hungry, overlooked, brilliant. Raymond checked in weekly. "You're running your own book in 6 months. Keep going." She kept going, but shadows lingered. Anonymous messages slowed to occasional whispers, never gone. Doxing scars faded but never vanished. Systemic change remained incomplete. 62 rejections still stung. The barriers still stood for others like her. She wondered about the waitresses still pouring wine, the analysts still rejected, the spreadsheets still hidden on fire escapes. She pondered them on quiet nights, poetry notebook open, verses tracing merit's uneven path, preparation meeting opportunity, privilege blocking the door, one voice bending the arc but not completing it. The ledger closed, but the story didn't. It simply continued. She looked out at the city. Stars fought through light pollution, faint, persistent. She smiled once, small and private. Then she turned off the light. Serena closed her laptop. The city quiet outside. But as she stepped onto her fire escape one last time, she wondered, how many others are still keeping score in the dark, waiting for their moment, full and complete every on? If you enjoyed, consider supporting this channel and author by leaving a comment on the video, letting me know your thoughts. It really helps. Even better, watching more videos, even a couple minutes, right after this. So here is more content you might enjoy.